What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. This should be a pretty quick video. There was just some things that happened in the recent update that I kind of omitted from some of the other pieces, and I wanted to make sure that I shared with you guys. Basically, we've got a couple of things in here, right? So outside of the epic invasion and the notable things, the additions and stuff like that, there's other things that are currently going on, right? So for instance, there's one thing that I really found really cool, and that is the way most wanted targets are now being handled. So essentially you have a ability to defeat targets, and you're going to collect the core slot color changer. So this is going to be a additional material that's now going to be monetized. Be aware of that, or beware of that. And basically it's a way for you to kind of make sure that they're basically trying to incentivize players to get these new badges with these epic invasions to get them to stage 6 or stage 5, right? So that way you can utilize those and use those battle badge alloys without fear that, you know, you roll into a 2 when you've got double reds or a green blue or something like that that you really wanted, and then you end up with double yellows basically at stage 5, which kind of like everybody goes, I already got it at red and green, or, you know, red and blue. I don't want to roll the possibility of getting a yellow. So that's what that is. But you can see on a daily here that these core slot colors, these color changers, are basically going to be available to you for completing most wanted targets or today's targets. Now, according to the notes, and I haven't seen this because I didn't refresh it, was that prime targets are also going to be available as today's targets, and defeating them will give you additional rewards when those are there. So this might incentivize you now to make sure that you're looking at these and you're refreshing them. I was pretty happy and ecstatic to see that I finally wasn't just getting gulat and obsidian every day. So this will be cool to be able to see those prime targets also available as today's targets, because that gives you more reason to go hunt those characters down instead of these. So I'm really liking that overall. Okay, the other thing that was changed inside here is that instead of completing the epic invasion 3 times daily, now you're only doing it 2 times daily. The rewards don't seem necessarily to be affected from what I'm doing the math on, but I have to do that a little bit more. This is pretty much my first impression for those. The other thing that's been changed inside here, and players probably is the claim rewards for the today's targets, right? So if you notice inside here, you're going to get additional rewards for completing all the targets, but you remember before it was just the gold, convergium, and then your 5 costumes. Well, now you can get these what were these boxes? The squad power material selection box, so you can get Fury's classified data, Stark's blueprints, or even the PIM's research logs from these boxes. This is cool because they just increased the power level from 300 to 500, and while that just seems arbitrary, but it does give something players to ascend to even higher in the game, because a lot of players are starting to hit 300. Especially if you were there from the beginning of the game. Most players have either capped out at 300 or they're nearing that 300 limit. You can also get training time tickets as well, or the color changer. I think the most that people are going to start going for, however, though, is these squad power material selection box. I'm going to choose those. Now notice that it says select and acquire 1, so you're basically only able to really get 5, but you know, over the course of a week where you're doing this and you get 5 of these, that's about 35 of the squad power, you know, things of any one individual scribes. That's pretty good. It's probably going to be between these two that you're realistically going to look, because we still don't want to lose out on the fodder for getting costumes, because costumes are important, and being able to level up those costumes is even more important. But you know, if this is something that you really want to do, then this is what you should be going for in terms of getting those boxes, because that's going to improve your squad overall, which may play into when we start having to level up other characters inside our squad as well. So speaking of that, we should go and take a look at the squad power, because you can see now that I'm like, for instance, I'm at squad rank 272, right? But if you look at your squad power info over here, now we can go even higher in terms of our total squad power, and we're getting into the 500 range for these. So for instance, right now we can see all the all own bonus effects that I'm getting from my weapon development, where I'm getting 4% across the board for most of my offensive stats inside here. And you can see at 300 right here is where we start to see even some of those increases. And you can see like pretty much as you start to make your way up, instead of seeing some of those, like, so this is like 160, you can see it's like a plus 2%. Now, like I said to you guys before, overall, these represent small, minor, boost in power, but they're going to represent great boosts in terms of squads overall in the long run. So I think this is something good overall. I don't think that this is necessarily bad. It's hard for me to tell you that it's bad. Like you can see, like basically all my characters are getting about a 3-4% boost on certain things inside there, and that's not it doesn't seem like something, but when you're basically looking at your characters and your build outs for characters, the more of these percentages that you're getting, where you're getting like 10%, 20%, you hit those little those max caps a little bit easier without having to necessarily invest in them, and that's pretty good overall. Like I hate to say that in that way, but that's essentially the way I look at it. It's like it's a good overall boost, right? So we're going to be working on those, obviously. Now, the one thing that I did notice as well that I didn't see a mention of, maybe I just ignored it inside the directions, is that with that expansion, we also have an expansion to the squad training. So most people, I think, have already completed their squad training. So it's nice to see that these have now been improved as well. So you can see there's completion rewards basically for reaching like 1,000 total levels inside the squad power. We've got some other ones over here as well. Like you're going to be able to get some crystals for basically reaching squad rank 350. That's probably a long ways off from me. 400 and then 450 and then 500 all the way over here. And we can see that this one is going to give us like, some core boxes. I would have preferred those to be 6-star cores, but we see in the color changers that are added in here. I don't necessarily like the fact that color changers are in here. I don't like the fact, period, that color changers was something inside the game in the first place. I feel like there's other ways they could have did that system, but I'm not going to shit on them too hard, right? We can even see like basically reaching 350 inside a squad level. Why 350 only nets you 300 dimension box tickets is weird to me. I mean, pretty much get 2 dimension box tickets. Why is that not 4? You can see the arbitrary nature of these. I hate the fact that we get these core booster essence for reaching those, because it's core booster essences. I don't get it. I hate those more than anything in life itself. We can see that like overall you're getting rewards either way for leveling up to 500. This does seem very arbitrary in terms of what the rewards are being given to you, and it realistically doesn't seem worth it, but it is giving players something new to reach out to. Along with the changes to your squad rank power. So like for instance, I can go here now, I can select any one of these to just get me 5 more. Doesn't really make a difference because it's just 5, but it will add up over time, hopefully, is the dark zone configurations. So I don't really play a whole lot of dark zone, if I'm being 100% honest. I just don't have a great reason to play Dark Zone. I'm not really engaged in it as much. I don't feel a lot of fun when I play Dark Zone. That's just the truth of the matter. Like, I hate to say that. That's just the truth. So basically looking at Dark Zone, you can see that it's basically attack stats that you're basically going. There's some buffs and so forth like that. That's basically happening for, you know, your total points and stuff. Now, the one thing that they've basically done is they redid the Dark Zone for the way that we were utilizing before. So essentially inside Dark Zone, you have your PvP zone and you have your non-PvP zone. So the values, however, of defeating targets in the PvP and non-PvP zones have changed, and they're pretty significant, right? So they give the example on there that there's going to be 3 PvP channels and 3 PvP channels and 1 non-PvP, or Jesus Christ, I can't speak today. There were 3 PvP channels. Now they're going to be 2 PvP channels and 1 non-PvP channel. So if you were to basically go inside the game mode, for instance, and you were to use the PvE zone instead of the PvP zone, and you defeated a normal target, before you were going to receive like 20 points, right, at level 120. Now instead you'll receive like 7 points inside the PvE zone. For defeating like a prime target and placing in the top, you would be inside the prime target zone and get 185 points. Instead, you're going to get like 55 points. So it's basically roughly about, you know, 25% of the value points that you were going to get before. Now, here goes the big thing too, is that with the reconfiguration, there's a reconfiguration on time as well. So you can see the dark zone is closed right now, but you'll notice that the remaining activity time has changed. So instead of being able to play for 1 hour, you can only play for 30 minutes. That sucks. I don't know why they thought the necessity of playing inside, dark zone needed to be lessened. Instead of just keeping it at the hour that it was. My only thought is to try to make it more competitive by having people actually battling in a zone. But I don't think they quite understand. This is a goddamn mobile game. Nobody really cares about playing inside in an area for 30 damn minutes. I don't. So the daily reward count has also changed as well. And this is going to be the area where I think it's going to impact players wanting to play this the most. Because before, you basically were able to get rewards from the prime targets 2 times and the normal targets 7 times. So the same way the most wanted event was happening. Now you're going to be able to defeat prime and normal targets and collect an unlimited amount of rewards. This is essentially going to be a good thing, I think, for players, because it's going to incentivize you to go in there more. Because if you remember, you were defeating prime targets and most wanted targets, so you were collecting pretty decent rewards in terms of comic card collections and things like that were going to help you out. So I think this is going to be really good. So like, for instance, when you defeated a prime target, right, you were getting free crystals, dark zone points, companion upgrade boxes for prime targets. After they're taking away the free crystals, you're no longer getting free crystals inside here. You're only going to collect dark zone points and companion upgrade boxes. But these are good, right? Because essentially, like, this is the funny part, right? Is that I was leveling up my companions and I noticed that I started hitting caps on what my companions were able to get. So, or, leveling up my companions, I just was running out of resources. So now that I can go inside prime areas and farm these targets, especially with runs for 30 minutes, now I can generally get more of those upgrade components. So that's good. Now there's going to be a purchase limit of the draw ticket selection box from the Dark Zone Exchange Shop. So now you're going to be, instead of being able to only purchase once a week, it's going to be 3 times a week. Now, one of the things that I'm not exactly quite clear on, right? I'm not exactly quite clear, and I don't understand this from the patch notes, is that there's going to be an exit time that's going to be added. So if you want to leave the dark zone, you have to schedule an exit time. Then you'll be automatically exited after that exit time. I don't understand this. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work out. I have to see how this plays out inside here, but I'm not exactly understanding this. I'm being 100% honest. I don't understand even why this is needed. Let me play my 30 minutes. Let me exit on the dark zone. Let me re-enter the dark zone for my 30 minutes. Why do you feel the need to put an exit time? You guys doing too goddamn much. You know what I mean? Like, devs, I don't know what you guys doing. I still feel like I'm dealing with the JV development team over at Netmarble working this game, and it's just really, really weird. It is what it is, I guess. Overall, it is what it is. Now, some of the other features that were added to the game, essentially, the battle badge core slot function, the transmutation. So essentially, inside your inventory, everybody should be collecting these core slot changers inside the game, right? So now what you have is the transmutation device that's going to be inside the game. So let me see if I can pull this up. So if you get a badge, for instance, that you really are feeling really great about with the stats and stuff like that from like the events and so forth, but you don't get the proper core slot, what this is going to enable you to do, is it not in here? Oh, excuse me. It's in the manage core slot. I don't know why I did that. Or synthesizer. I don't know why I did that. So let's go back over here. Yeah. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Now I can't find it. What the hell? Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm such a moron. So anyway, so here we go, right? So for instance, inside here, we can see that I have badges, right? And so for instance, I've got this level 120 prime deviant badge. I don't want to change that badge. That's a good badge for me, right? But let's say, for instance, I have the 115 Sultan SWAT. Well, I want to transmute this badge essentially, and I don't want the yellow slot. So instead of utilizing the yellow slot, I can transmute this core slot so that way it can become a red, green, or blue. Essentially, this is going to be great for yellow badges because I don't think anybody minds getting a red, green, or blue slot. But this is the problem that I essentially have with this new system. Why do this? Why not make the yellow badge valuable in the game instead of giving me a way to transmute away from that, because most people were more than happy to get a red, green, or blue slot on ours, and we'll make it work. Right now, there's going to be special situations where you're specifically looking to min max, and that's fine, but we know what this really is there's not a lot of feasibility for having HP or HP recovery effects in the yellow badge, thereby making it mute, and we don't want this. Now, unless you come out with Wolverine or Deadpool or any character that Hulk that really relies on HP regeneration, we essentially have the same problem where nobody's going to want to utilize that yellow slot. I'm definitely not wanting to utilize this where I got to spend 500 of these core slot changers and, you know, get 200 of my gold as well in order to slot these changes. It's always like you're trying to monetize something instead of just fixing the system. Right now, the problem with the system is that you developed a system whereby I cannot utilize the game properly because I'm essentially having yellow cores that nobody wants. Make the yellow cores valuable. Put it to a stat, either change the stats or make the stats work inherently with the character so that way HP and HP recovery effects have better potential inside the game than what they currently do. That's essentially what I'm looking at. I don't get it, but hey, another chance for you to monetize something, I guess. That's basically the way we look at it, right? So now there's a couple of other things inside the game real quick. The main thing that I want people to pay attention to is the addition of the specialization slots. This is actually pretty beneficial to a lot of players because it's something I think a lot of players said they wanted in the first place before they made the change that they did. And this is why I feel like I'm dealing with the freaking JV team, right? It's because we asked for this months ago. Why did it take so long for you to just do what we said, where it was like add these specialization slots so that way we can also have these in presets? But you decided instead that you want to go around the rigmarole doing something else. It's the same thing with the dark zone. We're kind of back into the same position, but you guys overstep where you shouldn't overstep. Nobody told you that we needed to set an exit time for when we were going to exit. Nobody told you to change the 30 minutes from an hour to 30 minutes. These are not changes that you needed to make. Why go overboard? Just listen to the players because they're doing a better job at trying to configure the game for you guys in a way that we want to play it than you are. You're like, I literally feel like I'm dealing with the JV team. I wish they would invite me out there somehow. So I'm like, here goes project management 101. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. So anyways, but we basically have the ability to change, you know, our specializations with our varying, you know, already existing presets, which is a good thing overall. It's also good because they've removed the gold requirement. You guys remember that stupid shit? They removed the gold requirement that was needed in order to change those presets. This is something that could have been done so long ago. I don't know why this was done. So we also have a reward that's been added inside the training grounds. So if you come over inside here, we go to operations and we go training grounds. Now it says that it's been added, but we can take a look at the main rewards. So, excuse me, Jesus Christ. So inside the training grounds, they've added the reward for squad power material selection box, can be at a set rate. So essentially that same reward that you were looking for before that you got, you can now get these squad power material selection boxes, which are pretty good, right? I'm not going to complain about this. This is a good addition to the game because you can basically farm for this and now get more of these squad material rank ups, which is going to help you hit that 500 level, and it gives you something to continually work for. One of the things that they basically mentioned inside the game that was added as well is essentially, and I'm not exactly sure about this, right? But essentially they've added a way for you to delete your account. I don't really want to focus on that, but you can delete your account now. So whatever it's in there is something that they added. I'm not exactly sure how they did that or whatever. So that's pretty much everything that they've added in there in the game. I think that a lot of these changes are great quality of life improvements, especially ways for players to feel like they're getting more out of the game than getting less. I'm really just not happy with the color changers, the core slot color changers. They do mention inside of that today's rank and stuff like that is largely dependent on what, you know, area you're farming in. So for instance, with the with the most wanted inside here, and your today that comes up, if you're in like New Stark City or Midgardia, then you'll only get like the squad power material selection box. If you're inside Sakaar, then you'll get training ground tickets, and if you're inside Dark Domain, then it's the color the core slot color changer inside here. So I don't know how I necessarily feel about that, but it is what it is. These are the changes that they've made inside the game, so we'll see where it goes. My man King said that he's not going to do a video this month about the differences in terms of money that has been spent on a game, but I would really like to see it, especially with the release of Diablo and Ni no Kuni with competition inside here. I've got to check out some of the other games like Blade and Soul when those release, because people are asking me for them, so I'm going to do them. I am going to start bringing you guys Ni no Kuni Crossworld reviews and things like that, because I am interested in those as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's been on a long side, but do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content, because it really helps me in terms of putting out content for you guys. So until next time, peace.